I can't remember being as scared about a project as today. And if I could get this open, I would tell you about this and why I am scared. Why do I record things where I'm scared about? Well, that has a really easy reason, because I want to show you that sometimes we need to face these situations where we think, I want to create something in my journal. This is, by the way, my Poppyfield Avenue journal, and you can find a whole playlist linked below this video about how this journal came to life. Sometimes, and I say that because I often read that in the comments below my videos, sometimes you say, I'm so scared to do what you are doing in the videos, what you show us, or what you do in your journals. I can't do that because I am scared. When I have a loose piece of paper, not the journal yet, it is, I think, pretty easy to say, yeah, what is this? Until now, it's just a piece of paper, right? But this is not a piece of paper anymore. This is a nearly fully decorated and nearly finished journal. And I totally get when some people say, oh my goodness, I can't do this in the journal, because if I mess it up, I have messed up my journal. So the sense of this video, and to be honest, I'm really, I don't say that because I make this video and, you know, this is my reality. I'm really honest in this situation, and always, of course. I'm so scared to do this because I have never done something like this today, something like this before. Sorry, I have never done something like I want to do today before. What the heck? And this is new to me as well. But I thought it could perhaps be good to show you exactly that, because the most of you think, oh, Luise is here with her journal. She is doing something here, and then in the end it looks good. Yeah, I mean, that is personal taste if you think it looks good, but I read that from your comments that you think she is doing something and then it looks good, and you say you can't do that because you are scared, or it doesn't look good when you do it. Yeah, so what I want to do is I want to show you that I also face these situations, and that I also sometimes think it scares the hell out of me just to think about what I want to do. So I thought I start recording and show you what I do. On this page I have this thing here because I'm planning to use this somehow as a focal point. If that really will happen, I don't know. It could also happen that I will later on change my mind. But another point of this video is also this thing which many people have, and which I also sometimes have, and that's the fear of the blank page. You have a page here, this page is not blank, yes, but you know, there is nothing yet. Here's not something like a pocket or a tuck spot where you can think, oh, I can make a tag for this, or I could make a journaling card for that. If you sit in front of such a page, it seems to be blank if you don't know how to start, or where to start, or what you want to do. And I think it really can help if you have something, for example, attached with a paper clip, where you say, that could become my focal point. If you have something like that, you already have different things right in this second, I think, because you have colors here, you have an image here, you have texture here. In this case, this was made with a stencil and texture paste, and this can already give you some ideas for the next steps. You could, for example, place this here and think, oh, it's way too big. Later on, we will cut this out, or we will cut this smaller. Or you could think, this blue and this red, they don't fit together well, so I want to put some paint on the background first to mute that down to make it match. Or, you know, that are only a few examples of what you could think if you already have something like this in your hands. And that can give you a starting point to do something. And if you later on will not use this, yeah, who cares? Yeah, then you are in the process and you have already started creating, and that's what we want to do. So my plan is, I have a basket here, and in this basket I have my leftover papers. That is something like this. This looks really weird. This looks like a little creature. Can you? Oh my goodness. What is that? Can you see that? Oh my goodness, what is that? Can you see that? Here's the nose, here's the mouth. If I place it like so, here's the ear. Can you see that? Oh my goodness. And he's like sitting here, and he's... I'm glad that this is not here, because it looks a little bit like he's shitting into the front garden. Can you see that? I want to make an eye here. Oh my goodness. It can be something like this. This is what we've used in the last Poppyfield Avenue journal video. I'm sorry. Here's the eye. Leftovers. But here are also some pages from the Poppyfield Avenue collection, which I haven't used in the journal for making my pages. Yeah, so leftovers. You can use whatever you want. You don't also, you don't need digital paper. You can use whatever you have. And what I want to do now is I want to start without even thinking about what I'm doing. And if you know me, you know that that is nearly the hardest thing ever. So I take a ruler. I don't measure. I tear this off so that it is smaller than the page. I freak out about these things here. So let's also tear those off. But I think since this is so grungy, let's tear it like this instead of with the ruler, then it's a little bit more irregular. And what I also thought is I will save these things. Here they are very small, but I'm hoping that from the other layers I will get bigger pieces than this is. But you know, I just throw them here to the right side of my journal, and then I want to later on use them as well. So then when we have that, I'm going to take some ink. In this case I'm going to use a vintage photo ink, but you can use whatever you want. You could also choose the colors you have on the page to ink this. And now I want to take some double-sided tape for different reasons. First of all, if I do it like this and put this here, I have a little space around here where not the tape is. And when I glue this down, I still have the possibility, to stick some pieces under here later if I want that. And the second reason is I want to use several liquid mediums on the page in a second. And because of that, I think it's good when we don't have additional liquid from liquid glue. Yeah, and also the page stays then a little more flat. Woo! Oh no, now I did something. Oh no. Now I did something where I told you to remember me that I don't do that. Oh my goodness, let's tear this off. I need to tear this off. Because this little thing here, we made that ages back in one of the other videos, when I created this and made this little hole here. Then I have put this here. So obviously I don't want to cover that up. We don't throw this away. Perhaps we can use that for something later. So then, to the scary part. I'm going to take some frayed burlap oxide spray. Oh wait, I have the rest of that in here. Let's see if that is still enough. Oh, it's pretty empty. And my plan is Oh. Where's my finger sponge? I want to take this and I will do this. Oh, wait, let's do it over the journal. This is probably then very real because it could come to the page now. But if that happens, we will not freak out. There it goes. So what I'm going to do is I take this and now I want to smash this to the page so that it flies from here into different directions. And yes, it will fly probably also to the cover and everywhere. For that, I'm going to press this down so that, you know, I can hit the spot I want to hit and not, you know, when this is moving, it's not so nice. Shall we add water? No, we will do it without water. That was not enough spray. This bottle is pretty empty already. Let's add a little bit more. And it's really handy to have a cloth at hand so that you can, you know, that you don't accidentally make fingerprints here. That's already better. Let's try to get even more on that. And I'm, to be honest, I'm doing now something where I just said I do it over the page, but don't do it, okay? Otherwise, I would have this on my journal now. That was not such a good idea. That was perhaps a little bit too brave when I did that. But I mean, both of these, they don't bother me. Yeah? But if it was more, then would probably look pretty weird. So then, when we have that, we can take either a straw or this thing here. And do this. And then I take my sponge again, load that up with more of the medium. And where else could this make sense? Perhaps here. My idea behind this was also this job is so cool, yeah? I mean, I just said I don't care if, or I want to do it on purpose, that also something flies on the cover here. Not a single piece, pigment, yeah? Not a single drop is on the cover. Here's the tiniest little bit. I mean, what? But what I want to, what's the word? Provoke is that it really flies to the other pages here. If you remember the other techniques we already did, we did something pretty similar with the ephemera pieces, for example, and also before we did the ephemera with the signatures. And I want exactly that, that it matches the rest. And now my spray is empty. So let's take this new thing here. Is the color of the label different? Seriously? Do I need new contact lenses or is this another color? I mean, only the label. That confused me. So let's shake this. All of these papers are matte photo paper. So all of the prints are on matte photo paper. And that also gives an additional thing because all of the Ranger oxide mediums, the spray, the oxide ink refiller, and the oxide ink pads, they react. Where's my? They react pretty interesting and very uncontrollable on photo paper, and that is what I want to use as like a style element as well here in a second. I would think that it is a good idea to make sure that not too much liquid can run into these slots here. even if we are going to do this or doing this really like aggressively and really without thinking what could happen with our journal, I would think it's a good idea that not so much liquid comes in here, because this could make the page fragile, and it could obviously soak in here, and then you could have that on all of the other pages of the signature as well. And yeah, that can be something like a style element as well. If you don't care about that, or if you find that interesting, leave the liquid in there. But please, at the same time, still have in mind, even if it could look cool, it could happen that this becomes fragile with time. So then we need a stencil. So I'm going to take such a brush and a little bit of water. I will quickly spritz this here next to the journal so that I don't spritz the water to the journal. Sorry that that is off camera, but you know, it's just water. I would think with a busy page like this, it would make sense to take a stencil which has something like dots or so, a pretty simple pattern. This is, I can't read it, but I know it, number 37 by Stampers Anonymous and Tim Holtz. And now I'm putting this on here while the spray is still wet. And now I want to use the advantage of the photo paper. And I will take the oxidation off here. And at the and at the same time, when I do that, I can reveal the, like I call it, second color, like the hidden color in or of frayed burlap. Okay, I will quickly take a second piece of the same paper like I used here and put that to this page and also smash on it with the same color. And then I do that with the stenciling, just everything is the same like I did it here. I will quickly do that off camera because I don't want to bore you, and then we can go on with the next layer, okay? Now I want to take the double-sided tape first. Without thinking about it. Putting it here. And also here. And I want to put it where this paper meets this paper. Or, yeah, that is not good English. You know, where the end of this paper is, so that the next layer can go over here like so, somehow. Hopefully you understand what I mean. So it's now like breaking this line here a little bit. Then let's take, and I will now, you know, I have my basket here, and I will now just grab what is on top here. If it was the same paper like this, I would choose another one, but it isn't. It's just this here. So without even thinking about what I'm doing here, I take the next one. Let's first tear this off. We keep these and we just tear this so that it's not so regular on the edges. You could do this with like real rectangles obviously as well, but I like it better when it's like this. Now I make sure that this layer covers up the tape. So yeah, well, it's not, if it wouldn't cover up the tape, it would also not be such a problem, but somehow I want to use the tape as an orientation to know how big this shall be. Could also take a look to the back. This is by coincidence printed double-sided, but I think I like this better. Why? Because my, yeah, what is that? Which part of my brain tells me that I want that? I don't know. Somehow it's a feeling, isn't it? When you see something and you think, okay, that could work, then just do it. And just use it without thinking. So here we do the same thing. So then I want to do the same thing with the sponge, but with a different color. And for that I've chosen brushed corduroy.
We used to meet at 9 p.m. down by the stationery nook. Just the two of us, graffiti marks, the streetlight ghosts. A hug, a kiss, that charming misprinted book.
And I will quickly put this aside. Then I will take my paper trimmer, because for the next step I want to have pretty straight strips. I, to be honest, just changed my mind about that, because first I thought we can use these things. We can still use these later for another thing, but to be very clear and very honest, in the beginning I thought we can use these, but they are just too irregular for me. But that also perhaps depends a little bit on what you did in the other steps and how busy your paper already was in the beginning. We have chosen a lot of crazy colors, and that obviously makes a difference. If you would take only neutral papers and then smash the mediums on there, that would be then not so extremely colorful and not so busy. Then you could perhaps also take the other pieces you've left from tearing the paper, because then the busyness, the original busyness is not so extreme like it is on my page here. Does that make sense? And then the straight look of these strips could be enough, just the look of the strips, I mean, to calm this down when you have a more calm situation here. Hopefully that makes sense. So then I want to take these, and I thought we could now either put them on here like so in the other direction, or what we also could think about is to add them here where one paper is meeting the other one. But I think this could be even better. This is pretty plain. Let's see. This is too matchy-matchy. This is also too matchy-matchy. Yeah, it's matchy-matchy because of that, Luise. I think we need to take something which is a little bit more plain here. So let's tear this off. Then I'm going to take my vintage photo ink again to ink this. And then I can see that I want to do something else before I glue these strips down. But what I'm going to do is, to save some time, I'm going to ink some of these. And I think I'm going to take these which have not so much pattern on the portion here. So I will quickly do that so that we have these ready. But I want to do something else before I attach these, but I couldn't see that before I have placed that there. But obviously that can also be something which, you know, comes along your way, such a problem. Yeah, then just take these and put them aside and do the other thing first. Absolutely no problem. No one says that you have to do that in the order you originally had planned. So we're going to take these, and now I want to take a stamp, preferably something which has bold numbers. For example, this one here from the Professor 2 CMS 395 by Stampers Anonymous and Tim Holtz, and I just lost the second one. Here. I'm so sorry. Or this one here, which is called Faded Type CMS 397. And I press this on here without an acrylic block so that I have the chance to make this little finger dance here to make sure that the whole stamp touches the paper. Yeah, look. That looks really cool. Okay, let's do a second one, perhaps here. Okay, that's pretty cool. So then, what about these little guys? Which one was the one I had here? With the black in the background, I like that way better. And I also want, I think, another one like so. Ooh.
Was the one you love the most. You tear out a page, then read a line or two. Your secret letters, hidden chapters I was longing for.
Okay, so then I want to take, where is this thing now? My focal point. And when I put this on here now, I can see that this is way too big on the one hand. And that I absolutely don't like the busyness of the page. We could make this smaller, yes, cut it. We could even think about fuzzy cutting this somehow. But it's too busy for me. And I think that is a problem, and I'm happy that that is happening here right now, because I think that is a problem. You can always have the chance that a page becomes too busy when you do things is so high, I would say, that I think it's important to have some things in mind how you can calm that down. In this case, for me, I think the solution is called acrylic paint. Old paper. This is the distress paint. I will put, sorry, I can't make it work that you can see it. I will put a little bit of that here to my glass mat, just a little bit first, and then I'm going to take a brayer and pick some of the paint up, but really not much, yeah, just a really thin layer. And then we go over this, just like so, just to get a little bit of this to these layers. I don't want to cover the layers up, otherwise I, could have saved my time and then the collage would make no sense. But I want that this paint is somehow like a connector for the eye, and also something which gives the eye, a little massage so that you can calm down a little bit, and that it's not so busy anymore. I mean with calm down, I mean color wise, yeah, because this is really crazy. Oh, don't cover the black up. Not too late.
Folded it and smiled. I love those words and you. And today, there's nothing I miss more. Send me letters.
And what we also can see here is that even the tiniest, and I'm talking about the tiniest things, can give inspiration for the next step. Because what I see here is this paper here makes something interesting. On the one hand, it gives a natural shadow. Can you see that? Because it's not glued down 100% completely. And on the other hand, because of my brayering and because of the fact that this is higher than this, here is no paint. And it looks like the tiniest little shadow here. Can you see that? Because the paper comes through here, that makes it a little darker and it looks a little grayish. like it was a shadow. And that brings me to an idea. Let's do that with acrylic paint as well. Let's take a neutral color, like for example frayed burlap. This is nearly empty, so I'm going to open this. And where's my water? I would not do this with a full bottle obviously, but since this is nearly empty, I can do it like this, just to get a little thinner paint here. Then I'm going to take a paintbrush. Ooh, oh no. And let's just do it like this. Is that doing much? Yeah, well, it is. I think when this is dry, that could look good. And that's obviously also such a thing. If you like what you did in another spot, yeah, just, you know, just do it somewhere else on purpose, even if this was not so very much on purpose, to be honest. But why not? This looks really interesting. And somehow it brings it down a little bit more. I mean, the busyness is disappearing somehow. And what I also like is that this gives more dimension. Can you see that? These little stripes, what is that? Lines are way more in the foreground now than the rest, and that gives it way more depth. But here it's still the most shadowy effect, and this, what I originally wanted to do, that is not enough for me yet. I think I need something which I can smear with my finger, a crayon for example. Let's go with frayed burlap, since we've used that color already before. And we'll go along here trying to get this on here while this is still wet. I mean, the paint is still wet. Yeah, not too much I think, but a little bit of this.
Poppyfield Avenue, time-worn secrets, telling tales we knew were true, wrapped in coffee and cinnamon air, the ceremonies we used to share, every line a whisper, a memory.
So then, give me my focal point. Completely different scenario. That is amazing. Okay, but it's still too big. So what shall we do? We could think about cutting this in half and put then one of these pieces here and the other one there, even if that was absolutely not what I had in mind in the beginning. But I told you that it could happen that I changed my mind, and this is obviously happening right now. Okay, this is weird. Somehow I like this even better because I don't cover up so much of this here. Originally I thought I want to place a little, sorry, that is confusing. Originally I thought the bigger part of this card would go to this page. I already changed my mind about that, but the original plan was to put this here and just a small portion here, approximately this size. yeah, but that will not happen because I just decided that I want this here to not cover up this so much. But that means if I would put this here, I would also cover up a lot of this. So I'm trying to decide which portion of this could make sense here now. That is good. So then we have this left. And if we remember our original card, this was a massive part of that. Not only because of the size or so, but because of this pattern. And let's then see if we perhaps can include these somehow so that there's also a connection between this and this, and this and this, or all four. Let's ink this first. Okay, now I know how it wants to be. Okay. What we are going to do is we take even more of the vintage photo ink. Make this really extreme to make sure that these really stand out. And this is also something you obviously need to decide in the moment you see this. Yeah, it can happen that you want to craft along and that you make your own page with these ideas and with the steps I did here, and you see something where you think, no, I absolutely can't do it like Luise did it. Why? Because your materials tell you something different. Like, for example, put this upside down. Oh my goodness. What a coincidence. First I thought we are going to do it like this, as I just said, and then do 1, 2, 3, 4 somehow, or perhaps even like this, so that this image of this card is then somehow complete again. Can you see that? 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top layer of this thing. But we will do it like this, because then it looks way more interesting, doesn't it? I want that these stand out even more. It's something is missing. Something, and I don't know what. Something is missing. So I will tear this so that the edges are frayed. Somehow we need to make this work now. Yeah, but that is, I think that is already enough, isn't it? Yeah, I think that is good. So I will tear this, and I will then take the rest, take that to my sewing machine and puzzle that around here as a little frame as well. Give me 2 hours. I will be back then. Sometimes the struggle on the sewing machine can also bring you to decisions. I had this, and that worked pretty well because the piece of this material here was in the right size. But then I tried to puzzle the rest of these pieces around the other thing, and it was, yeah, perhaps my patience was not enough or so, but I couldn't manage it. What is going on here? I couldn't manage to bring it around here. I was close to freaking out. But then I thought, perhaps it's even better. Yes, but when I see it now, I do really think so. Perhaps it's even better to have it like this and not completely around here, because then it's also a little more irregular. Where exactly do we want this? It's so sad that I cover up this edge when I put this here. that really bothers me. Let's do it like this. Can you see? Then this cool thing, because I really like how this looks, and that way we don't cover it up when we take this small strip or this slim strip. I wish I had a third piece of this. Can't cut it in half because then they would all be the same width. Haha. Don't be stupid, Luise. Cut it in half, but this way and not, you know, not the other way. So then, splatters. I also want to quickly think about some text. Oh, I love this page. This is so cool. But still, not a single thing went to my cover here. Oh, here, look. Oh, here we have a little bit. Wait, can't see it here. There's a little bit. Can you see it? I originally thought that I want to have way more of that somewhere here, but as you could see, it didn't happen. Just didn't happen. But that's of course okay. At least it came to the other pages here. And, you know, then we have this cool addition here now. I really like that, especially because you don't know how that comes out. You know, you just do it, and then in the end, when you flip through this, you can see what you got on the other pages. I find that really interesting, and especially when you have it like so, and you look at this page, and you have this portion where these mediums are on the other page as well. It makes this even more layered, even if these layers are the pages and not the layers of the collage itself. Does that make sense? I find that really interesting. But wait. Shall we? I'm just thinking, do I have a postage stamp which is this blue? I mean, what you could do is print this again and with the help of a die cut or so, cut a postage stamp from the printable. But it would make me really, really happy if I could find a real postage stamp in that color. This is probably too much price ribbon. Yeah. Well, but it's not the same blue, I can see that, but it's this I like already better than without this thing. Color-wise, this would be the better match, but it has a lot of white, which I don't like so much. Oh, send me letters from Poppyfield Avenue. 2 people in love. You know what I mean? She needs to go. Do I have a second one? Oh, but well, then it would be 2 plus 2, and that's 4. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, I'm so glad that I looked further. Look. Yeah, and now we need 2 postage stamps. We need a third one for here. Am I a lucky girl or what? A neutral image and the correct blue. Oh, I'm so sorry. I have the feeling that this thing with my doorbell becomes a running gag on this channel. I'm really sorry. I mean, you could say, order less things from the internet, then your doorbell would be more quiet, and I would think that is completely true. I would totally agree with that. By the way, this is the woman from the story of the Poppyfield Avenue paper collection. And I want to be very honest with you. I'm so frustrated. I just got my groceries. You know, when I have things like milk or so, or potatoes, then I order that online because I don't have a car anymore. When I moved here, you know, from Austria back to Germany, I sold my car, and because I don't need it here. But when I have things like milk or potatoes, which is really heavy, then I like to order that online, and it's my own fault. But I didn't pay enough attention because I was like, you know, I want to finish the video, and then, you know, the man came, and I said to him, give me everything, I need to go back to work, and I didn't pay attention to the bags he gave me, and I realized that some of my things are missing, and that is obviously not very funny. I couldn't reach anyone with the telephone number which was on the little paper, and I even got some French fries from someone else, so with the paperwork and everything. And now that poor woman is probably missing her fries, and I have a problem because I don't have my broccoli and other frozen things. Yeah. And then that was not the only thing. I realized that someone is obviously selling my digital paper on Etsy. Nice. Thank you very much to that person. But thank you even more to the person who has brought that to my attention. Thanks to Ninja at Schnipselbude. Do you know what? I want more postage stamps, but not in blue. And then somehow I have the feeling I need to continue here a little bit. Even if I thought that this is finished, but I need this time now somehow to calm down, because after a really, really long research on the internet, I found something in a second-hand store which I really badly want to have. Oh, this is him. Oh, and I ordered that, and I have never ordered something from that shop before, so that was completely new to me. And now they wrote me an email where they said that they can't find the article, the item I bought. And that obviously is not what I was expecting. I mean, obviously mistakes can happen, and something like that obviously can happen, but that is really something which is close to my heart, and I searched for that for weeks, and then I finally found it, and now this thing is not there. That wrecks my nerves. And now I have to wait until they hopefully will message me again to tell me that they found it. Otherwise I will get my money back, yes, but you can perhaps imagine if you find something which is really, you know, which you want really much, and the thing is, it's not available anywhere else because it's a second-hand thing. And yeah, nice, really nice. But it's good to have something like junk journaling, because that way we can control our aggressions a little bit and our disappointment about these things. even with, what do you think about this? Even with more postage stamps, it still looks really harmonious with these three. I think that's the most important thing about this whole thing with the postage stamps. That we don't add more of the blue. I mean, we could do 5 or so, yeah, so that it's an odd number as well, but where to place them, I mean, except the thing that I don't have more in the matching color, yeah, I don't have more. But if I had, for example, 2 more, I would definitely not place them here, here, or here, where I now have put the neutral postage stamps, because then this whole thing would be completely busy. But with the position here, here, and here, it's like a flow, like a little wiggly woggly line here through the page. So that would mean if I would have more, I would perhaps put 1 here, and perhaps if I had 5, I would put the other 2 here, so that this line is still a line and not something which is then like fallen out here on the top or the bottom of the page. Okay, so now I think this is really finished. I'm really hoping that you could get some inspiration from this video, and perhaps we will see you the next time with another idea. Have a very great and creative day. See you. Bye.